It's another great day. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a great day. This is the day the Lord made, and I'm rejoicing and I'm glad in it. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it, just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. Welcome to Jolly Good News Report. I am excited about being able to be on with you today on this beautiful Saturday morning where we are grateful for every day, but this is a special day because this is the day the Lord made. Every day the day the Lord made, but every day a good day. But I'm especially excited about today because I get to be with you and I get to talk to you and I get to encourage you and inspire you, hopefully to empower you and help you to make this a better day, a better week, a better month, a better year, because you're watching some good news being delivered to the world. That's my goal. To start this was to give you some good news in a time of bad news, sad news, depressing news, despondent news. You need some good news. And so no one else was going to give you the jolly good news but Willie Jolley. So this is my time. This is my day. This is my opportunity to help you grow and go to the next level and do it with something that will give you some power. God gave us power, gave us life. He said he gave us the power to create wealth so we can establish his kingdom on this earth. So we want you to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And that's why we've got the Jolly Good News Report. Do me a favor right now. Do me a quick favor. I need you to do this for me. Do this. Start a watch party. That's right. Start a watch party right now. Start a watch party. And if you're on YouTube or somewhere else and you can't start a watch party, like it, share it, subscribe to it, tell somebody about it. Then I want you, when this is all over, to send this message, this file, this link, this information to 5 of your friends. Say, hey, you got to see this. This is Dr. Willie Jolley's Jolly Good News Report, and he's bringing it. This program is just what the doctor ordered for you. I know many of you have been around people who've been depressed, despondent. There's a lot going on. We know that there's a lot of drama and trauma and difficulty and challenge and change and a lot of negative all over the place. But I started this Jolly Good News Report so you'd have some positive, upbeat, empowering information to help you through the tough time and give you some hope, because hope in the future gives you power in the present. So I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Now that you've started your watch party, now do it. If you haven't done it, do it. And you liked it and shared it and you subscribed. Now let me tell you about this week's Jolly Good News Report and some of the things we're talking about. We want to first tell you, I always tell you about what's going on my show this week. Today's show is a show on my XM show, which is featuring a multimillionaire man of faith who is they call him the franchise king. Kevin Hicks, African-American, went to Wharton School of Business, and started first getting into franchise game with some Subway sandwich shops. Then he got Papa John's. Then he got Kentucky Fried Chicken. Then he got Golden Corrals. And he just started buying more and more franchises. And once he figured out how to run them, and he didn't have to be on site, but he could own them and run them and manage them with competent people, he started buying hotels. He has created multi-million-dollar revenues from all these streams. Money's coming in. And now he teaches other people how to do it. And let me tell you, his lessons are so profound and so powerful. I want to share a couple of the lessons. If you're on my newsletter, you should be on my newsletter, by the way. If you go to winwithwillie.com, you will be able to get all my websites. This website, jollygoodnews.org, jollymarriage.com, the williejolly.com, wjspeaks.com, my youth site, WJ Youth Power. All of them are there on winwithwillie.com. Now, let me tell you a few of the things that Kevin Hicks shared in this powerful interview that he did. It was so powerful because he has started this franchising to make millionaires first of himself and then others. He said a couple of things I thought were profoundly important. First, you got to know what wealth is. Wealth is the consistent, ongoing revenue stream that comes from assets that you own. Now, you might have heard that before because Alfred Edmonds said it when he was on my XM show. Eric Broyle said it. So many. It's the consistent revenues that you are able to generate that come from assets you own. That's very important that you do that. He said that never should you let money stop you from, or lack thereof, stop you from getting into deals with potential partners. Come with a good idea, come with a work ethic, come with seriousness, and people will invest in you. He said, rather than begging people for money, let them know of an opportunity that you have, some value that you can bring to them, and they'll find money. He said, you know, many people are poor because they have decided to be poor. Poor is a state of mind. That can be changed. And he credited me with helping people to get their mindset to rise and to raise their consciousness. Create by giving people what they need in the most critical times. Find a need and fill it. It really is critical. Learn about business, learn about selling, learn about team building, and you'll be able to grow business units. He said, we will either make history or be the victim of history. You decide. Let's make history, because today's actions create tomorrow's legacy. And nothing in business happens to people who are not willing to work hard. Well, hard work makes a difference. Learn the art of selling. And so the average millionaire has at least 4 streams of income. And investments can be interest in the business, insurance projects, financial accounts. They all get interest and they all create revenues, and that's how you get streams. And first goal, he said he always wants people to do is just get a net worth. You should know your net worth. Your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities is your net worth. He said, set a goal to get a net worth of 200,000. And once you hit that, then 500,000. And once you hit that, 750,000. And once you hit that, then 1 million. He said, it's doable. He said, he said, I came from the hood. I did it. Others can do it. So listen to my show today at 4 o'clock Eastern, channel 141, Sirius XM, channel 141. Many of you asked about the Bob Proctor interview on wealth building, and that is now going to podcast on the iHeartRadio, C-Suite Radio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So you can get the podcast, and Kevin Hicks' interview and podcast will be next week. Go and listen to podcasts. Subscribe to my podcast channels so you'll know when I'm putting up new podcasts. I'm excited about the day. I'm excited about the day because I want to tell you some things that inspire me, things that uplift me, that encourage me, that empower me, and help me to have greater success. And I'm going to tell you in a moment. But right now, I want to tell you about the coronavirus stat of the week. I've been doing it over the last, let's see, how many months is this now? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 10 months. I have to count on my hands sometimes. I still got to do hands. That's why they're good. The digits work. So 10 months I've been doing this Jolly Good News Report because we needed to have it and help people. And I taught it with the coronavirus stat of the week. Now, other people will tell you about how many people died, how many people got sick, how many people were infected. I'm not talking about that. You can find that anywhere. But you got to find the ones, the good news. That's what I'm focused on. How many people recovered, beat it, are home with their families. And right now, today, we got 68 million. 68 million people are home with their families. I love it. 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 Let's give them some love. Let's give them some love. Now, are you ready to grow your thinking, grow your success, grow your wealth, and grow your faith? This is a faith-based show. If you don't believe that faith is important, stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you why. And if you say, well, I don't want to hear about faith, stay tuned, because I got some messaging for you. Because this is something that was not just to beat you up about faith, but to encourage and inspire and uplift you about my faith. My faith is what changed my life, because many people who knew me before I got married and before I became focused on my faith said that was a wild boy, Willie Jolley. But thank God, I thank God that I was willing and wise enough one day to say, I'm gonna give it to you, God. I done tried it my way. And it's been just one disaster after another, one mistake, one pitiful situation after another. But when I gave my life to God and I gave my life to the Lord and I said, God, Lord Jesus, you got it. things changed in my life. And I just want to share it with others. I just want to tell them my story. I just want to help them to see what's possible. I want everybody to have the kind of joy and excitement and enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, by the way, is the word entheos, taken from the Greek word entheos, which means the God within. And there's a God force within you, but you got to be willing to let it be open and bloom and blossom. And to do that, just say, Lord Jesus, I accept you. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give you my life. Your life will change. I know it. I saw it happen with me. With me. This little guy. This guy was a walking, talking mess all the time. But thank God, I finally figured it out. So in fact, I want to encourage you to go to jollygoodnews.org. Jollygoodnews.org. Now, a couple of things I want to encourage you to go to. There's a piece there where I talk about the messaging of my faith transformation. You can look at that. There's also information there to help people who might be sick. There is an interview I did with two people who had stage 4 cancer. One had pancreatic, one had throat cancer. And I interviewed them on the same day from different places. They didn't know each other, and they almost told identical stories of something they did that was different to beat cancer. And they both have continued to beat it. Now, this is at least a 10-year-old interview. But the one with pancreatic cancer, stage 4, was given 6 months to live. She's now way past 10 years, and she says she only takes the baby aspirin. The one with throat cancer, over 10 years, and he's doing great, moved and retired down to North Carolina. It's incredible. So I've been sharing this video, this audio, this message. It's the audio. I'm not a video. It's audio with people all over the world. When I get a word that they have been diagnosed with cancer, I say, listen to this interview. Never heard anything like it. You go to jollygoodnews.org and you share it with people you know who are struggling with the health. Last but not least, we want to continue to grow our impact. If this is a blessing to you, and what I'm doing is a blessing to you, I don't get paid for this. I don't take money for this. I don't take any salary for this, but I do want to get resources, and I want you to bless me with your help financially so we can take this message to television stations. And we can do the things that Jolly Good News is about: putting books into prisons, books beyond bars, putting video messages in schools to encourage kids to not make the poor choices, but to make wise choices so they make wise choices so they won't go to jail in the first place. But poor choices will get you in jail. I don't want them to go there, that they need my books in there, books beyond bars. And then we make a donation. We made a commitment to make a sizable, significant donation to the African American Museum of History and Culture. And so make a donation and we will use it wisely. We'll be good stewards on it. That you can be sure of. Now, I want to talk to you today about some lessons that changed my life. And they were from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As we go into this time where we celebrate his birthday, I am so grateful. I'm speaking for the Calvert County NAACP on Monday for their annual Martin Luther King program. And this is the first one they've done virtually, and I get to be the speaker for that. It's a historic moment. So I'm excited about that, and that's going to be online. But I also want to talk to you about Martin Luther King and the impact and the thinking and the things I saw that were maybe a little outside of the norm that impacted my thinking as I talked to people about his birthday and the impact it had on me. Now, first of all, as a speaker, I loved hearing Martin Luther King Jr. speak. I was a kid, a little boy, but I could feel something. And notice he didn't have a PowerPoint, but he painted pictures with his words. And when I became a full-time speaker, when I grew up and became a speaker, I said, I want to be able to paint pictures with my words. I want to tell stories that will impact people's lives. Stories like how I got fired and replaced by a karaoke machine, going into a nightclub one night, and it was dark and dank and smoke-filled. The owner said, I want to talk to you after tonight's show. I told the guys in the band they were to talk. We've been selling out for months. We got standing room only audiences. We're finally going to get our raise. Walked in his office that night. He said, you were great. I said, thank you. The people loved you. I said, thank you. You know, we made a lot of money since you've been there. I said, yes. He said, that's why it's hard for me to tell you what I got to tell you. Now that we made a lot of money, the owners of the club have decided they got to get a better return on investment. And the only way to do that with a full nightclub is a lower cost. The band's the biggest cost. We're going to try something new. We bought a karaoke machine. I said, but what about my bills? I learned that nobody cares about your bills but you and the people you owe. And I was devastated. And I went home and told my wife I got to do something else. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was going to do something else. I took a job with the Washington, D.C. public school system. And as part of my job, I had to start giving speeches. And my life changed because I'd had a setback. But that setback was a setup for a comeback. Now, I just told you a story. And that's how Dr. King inspired me to use my words to tell stories, to craft stories. And that is what I am excited about today. Today, I want to give you some of the thoughts, some of the quotes that have inspired me over the years from Dr. King. Quotes that I just love. They just inspire me. You know, Dr. King, we usually think of him as a person who was a fighter for equal rights and for equality, for civil rights. But he also talked about excellence, that you've got a part to play in your own success and your own equality. You got a part to play. And that part is because you make a commitment to be the best you can be. You make a commitment to excellence. You know, I wrote a book, An Attitude of Excellence. I hope you have that copy of that book because it's a really good book. In fact, I interviewed Stephen Covey this week. Stephen Covey, M.R. Covey, that's Stephen Covey's son who wrote, and Stephen M.R. Covey wrote the book, The Speed of Trust. Stephen R. Covey wrote the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I was one of the last people he wrote a foreword for the book, An Attitude of Excellence, before he died tragically in a bicycle accident. And his son said he loved that book, Dr. Jolley. He loved your Attitude of Excellence book. He wrote a stunning testimonial quote about how he loved that book. And I'm so grateful. But when I talked about Stephen Covey, I wanted to talk about the fact that we talk about excellence. And in that book, Attitude of Excellence, I love this quote that I even put there that Dr. King taught us. He said, if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth say, there lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. And I say, as you go about your day in your life, make a commitment to do whatever you do well. Do it so people will say, that person is excellent. Excellent. That's what you want to be. You want to have a reputation for excellence. Why? Because when you have a reputation for excellence, you'll always have job security. See, excellence is always the best job security. No one can guarantee you'll stay in your present job or wherever you are now. But if you're excellent, you always have an opportunity because people will be looking for you, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you work for someone or an entrepreneur. They'll be looking for you because you have developed this reputation and they're waiting for you to become available. I like to use it in this analogy. Trying to remember who won. Oh, I know. LA Lakers won the NBA championship last year. LeBron James, let's say the owner of the LA Lakers decided he or she was going to disband the team and start all over. How long do you think it'd be before LeBron James gets another job? Nanosecond. That's right. Why? Because he's excellent. Excellence always paves a path. And when people hear that you're available or know that you might be available, they start looking for how they can get you on their team to be part of their operation, whether you're an employee or whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're a consultant. People are looking for excellence. So always take excellence. Now, let me give you one more that we talk about when we celebrate the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King. We talk about the fact that he talked about the fact that he was not just a civil rights leader, but he was a motivator. He motivated us to not give up on ourselves and not let the challenges of life stop us from being all that God planned us to be, achieving greatness. Dr. King, in one of his famous speeches, said, you got to keep going. This quest for equality is not going to be easy. We're going to be met with all sorts of roadblocks, challenges, difficulties, but keep going. He said, whatever you do, keep moving forward. If you cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. Don't stop. Just keep moving forward. And I want to say with that in mind, that you're going to have some challenges. We are in the midst of a challenge with a pandemic, economic downturn, massive job loss, racial strife. But we are coming through this. And even as we come through this with the vaccine, there's still a ways to go. Keep moving. By the way, let me take a moment to encourage everybody. I'm saying it every way I can. Take the vaccine. Take the vaccine. Now, I know we as African Americans, those of you who are looking who are African American, are concerned because many of you are concerned because of the history of people giving vaccines to African Americans that were not up and up. But I was on a prayer call not long ago, and a gentleman said, I want you to pray for a friend of mine. My friend went to visit his father for Thanksgiving. His father had been in the bubble for 9 months and had not been out of the house. So he was trying to stay COVID-free. The son came to visit feeling good, no symptoms, nothing. Stayed for a few days, went back home, but then a few days later, he started feeling poorly. He went and got a COVID test. He was positive. He called his father. He said, how are you feeling? He said, I had a temperature for the first day of the day. The son said, I just got tested positive for COVID. I might have been asymptomatic when I came to visit you. Let's see what happened. The son got better. The father died. The son was inconsolable because his father was his best friend. And I made the commitment. I made the decision. I'm taking the vaccine. In fact, I got my phone every day waiting for when I can get the buzz as I can get my appointment. Because see, I know I might get a reaction. I might get the hives, I might get sick, I might feel poorly, but I would not feel anywhere near as poorly as I feel or as devastated if I took the virus to one of the people I loved and they died. My wife or my kids or my family members or my friends, even though I didn't have the symptom. That I could not live with. I'm encouraging you. This is something I will gladly get sick for a few days, have some discomfort. No one's died from the vaccine, but over 340,000 people have died from coronavirus. I don't want you or somebody you know to be one of those people. Well, I'm taking the vaccine. It's going to be a challenging time, but keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Then one of my favorite speeches from Dr. Martin Luther King was a speech he made at Ebenezer Baptist Church, his last speech at Ebenezer, two Sundays before he was killed. His last Sunday speech was at the Washington, D.C. Cathedral. That was the Sunday before he went to Memphis. But the weekend before that, he was in Atlanta. He spoke at Ebenezer. He gave a speech we've come to be known as the drum major instinct. And he almost proclaimed that when I die, I don't want to have you to read a long bio and all the awards. Just say I was a drum major. And then he talked about, in that speech, a small piece about greatness. I often share this speech this quote in my corporate speeches, is that the greatest achievers are often motivated by a desire to serve. They serve others. And Dr. King said there's a new definition of service and a new definition of greatness. And the new definition of greatness says that you don't have to have a college degree to serve. And you don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. And your verb and your subject do not have to agree to serve. And you do not now have to know about Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. All you need is a heart full of love and a soul generated by grace. And you can serve somebody and make a difference in somebody else's life. And if you serve somebody else, you can be great. That's what I'm calling on you to do today. Be great. Serve somebody. Make a difference in somebody's life. Oh, you don't have to be a speaker or author, but you can write a book maybe. You don't have to write a book. You can cook a meal for somebody. You can, even if nothing else, give somebody some encouragement. Did you know that studies show that most people go to bed hungry? Not for food, but for a word of appreciation, encouragement. So I want you to take some time and make a point to serve somebody else. Serve somebody with your life, your greatness, your passion. I love that quote from Dr. King. Now, y'all know in my speeches, I talked about Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays. And he was Dr. King's mentor when Dr. King went to visit him at 15 years old. He gave him a piece. He said, young man, read this piece every day. And if you read it, it'll change your life. One day I got hold of that piece and I started reading it. It changed my life. And I put it in my books. And it has changed the lives of so many people. And I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to read this piece. I want to encourage you to read this piece. It'll change your life. It's in page 11 in my book. It only takes a minute to change your life. It says, it must be borne in mind that the tragedy of life does not lie in not reaching your goal. No, the tragedy lies in not having a goal to reach for. It is not a calamity to die with your dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disaster to be unable to capture your ideals, but it is a disaster to have no ideals to capture. It is not a disgrace not to reach the stars, but it is a disgrace to have no stars to reach for. Not failure, but low aim is sin. Fill up with the pure, the powerful, and the positive. Do what Dr. King told you to do. Be excellent. Keep moving forward and serve somebody. And do what Dr. Mays taught Dr. King. That make the most of every minute. You have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, you can't refuse it. You didn't seek it. You didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer. If you lose it, give account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but your eternity's wrapped up in it. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Jolly Good News Report. Thank you for your time. Share this with everybody. And again, if you can go to jollygoodnews.org, make a donation. Be a partner with us. It will bless me tremendously that we can continue to do more for more people and bless more people. jollygoodnews.org. Go and make a donation. I'd greatly appreciate it. Hey, have a great day and a great week and a great month on purpose. Happy birthday, Dr. King. And I'll look to talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.